Testing. Volume is kind of testing. Okay. I think this is fine, volume wise, right? I'm looking at the OBS thingy. As long as I don't whisper, it should be fine. Okay. So no one's really here yet. Most people are not here yet. But just for the recording sake, we're just gonna continue. Oh, very sorry from yesterday. And I've gone ahead and generated a black and white version in Clip Studio Paint. So we can take a closer look at all the very minor shades of colors that's in all the pillars and all the walls and all the floors and every surface there is. I guess they're all hard surface and it's all the same material, huh? Now that I think about it, but we're not really here for that. I'm just here to look at patterns in the values. Yeah, and right off the bat, like I think the pillars already makes more sense, I think. Does this make sense? But yeah, let's not worry too much about making sense. I'm just gonna hear and go through the motion, because over time it adds up, and that's good enough for me. But what we have here is kind of tricky to work with. It does look like, wait, no, I need to get rid of this. Get out of here. Is mine brighter or is mine darker? That's kind of the same to me. But on two separate monitors, so not very reliable here. What is this? So I made it darker, huh? That's fine. I'll work with this, I think. Do I want to draw the lines nicely? If I don't, I think it'll get annoying. Okay, wait, how do I want to split the layers here? Oh, interesting. If I just go by values, but it's a value study, going by values makes sense. But if I want to prepare for the future when we're painting, I need to be more aware of the individual props. So that would mean that the prop itself should be on its own layer, I think. Hello, Yaz. But that's not what I've done so far. Okay, I think this is a point that I need to be aware of. So what is the plan then, I think? So I need to not only be aware of the values, but I need to be aware of the individual parts still. So I'm splitting by value as well as the individual part. Today's tomorrow. Yesterday's tomorrow. Today's tomorrow. Let me make some notes real quick. Let's grab one of these guys here. Alright, value studies. Split by hello silver. For mid background. Okay. So I have the big shapes now. And then within each one, I think I need to be aware of each I mean, to some extent I can paint it just fine. Like in this case, getting to this point was kind of okay, just by splitting values. I don't know what will happen when colors come in. But when colors come in, I should probably split by faces. Should I not? Because then... Anyways, I'll keep this simple for now. I'm trying to make notes to keep track of the process here, so that down the line I can come back and make adjustments, and then slowly we can polish up the process into something that's a little bit more natural for myself. Alright, that would be that. I'm starting off from the right, going to the left. As I mentioned yesterday, I can't tell. This is the limit of my ability to tell values here. So I'm gonna just use this black and white version here. Get a better feel for what is happening. So this is darker too. I need something slightly darker up the top. I don't know how much of this is the gradient at the end though. But I'm gonna work assuming that the gradient isn't there. That's the only way I can do it, because otherwise it'd be too annoying to work. So I'm gonna have to do it. Did I paint anything? No? Okay, let's get started. Oh yes, opacity does this. I need it to blend. I don't need it to, but if blending, I need it to be the same layer. Huh? Whoa, what? Yeah, this doesn't really work either. Anything that's slightly darker, okay. Okay, maybe no color blending nonsense then. Let's keep this simple. Yeah, I can only go so far with this layer structure. I need to be unbounded from it in order to paint in all the different shades of gray here. So I'll set up the base as much as I can with all the different layers I have, and then we have to just paint a massive paint over layer. So it's just pushing colors locally. And this should be fine. Thank you, Silver. And organization is kind of a mess though. Like mentally it's really hard to keep track of what's happening on the different layers. I cannot have the mask here. Oh, right. Oh, yes, because there's gradient here. Ah, okay. Yeah, this is... It's a bit annoying to work with so many different things happening. So yeah, definitely like fix opacity, like full opacity, full brush size, and then single color per layer, just to set things up. And then after that, we can go in and change stuff. I wonder how this will factor into the color renderings later, but figure that out later. Like over here, I think we can erase this. Oh. Post out one more layer, I think. Rider? About the same, huh? 7 Seeds, is that an anime? Can't say I recognize the name. No, not Flood Marker. I see. Well, I hope you're enjoying it. Alright, sketching along sounds good. Let's see. This part is definitely too bright. This needs to get out of here. Making very dumb decisions. Yeah, My brain isn't also isn't what? Also isn't really spinning today. It's anyways, yeah. Living day by day basically. Just if you can make it through today and have enough energy left over to art and stream, I think that's good enough for me. And then hopefully things change and get better over time. Oh, I am struggling to speak today. I see. Oh, are you okay with that, Silver? Does it not isn't it kind of intense? Or I don't know if that's something that would trigger migraines, but it sounds like it might be something that would trigger migraines. Seems a little intense. It's not? Cool. I mean, I'm sure you have it under control. It's just an interesting... Batman Arkham. Jump scared by Batman. Goddamn. Okay. How should I approach this? We have all the different areas blocked out. But ideally, before paint over, there should be a bit more gradients. Because that would help. Then later on we just pick and choose colors from the ones that already exist, instead of having to mix a bunch of colors on the spot. So we're gonna go into the different shades of gray now. Why do I have a block here? Damn, I misunderstood this. Hello, Google user 07. No, that. No, it is not. I thought it was painted in, but this is not painted in. Yes, what's was. Mine's too small, I think. Yeah. Rotating boxes. Ah. Perspective. Draw a box. Yeah, I never tried it out. I've heard a lot of things about it. That is not true. I've not heard that much about it. But from my impression, I think people like it. People think it's effective, I think. So that's good, I guess. Oh, I see. It's a absence. 逆なのではこれ。What do I want to do here? Do I want to jump into painting? Do I want to break it into more layers? Do I want to put gradient? There's definitely mistakes made already in terms of the process. I shouldn't have painted like the lines on the ground. I shouldn't have painted the railings because those are much easier added later. And then now I have to, well, basically paint over it. I'm still quite stubborn right now because we just started this series of painting related stuff. Because I'm desperately trying to pull it back to the structure that I know, which is one color, one layer. One color, one layer makes it so much more flexible, but it really restricts you in terms of all the painting. Because every gradient has to be placed in very manually. There's no blending, there's no gradient maps. Which one makes more intuitive sense? But if I want to paint, I definitely need to adjust all the gradients first, so that they're a little bit more accurate before I go in. Before all. Okay, I'll make a copy of this. So this is the stage 1 process here. So I can free myself up to do the next stage a little bit more freely. Okay, what do I want to do here? Okay, let's just force all the values to be what I want first. There's quite a few that doesn't really match up, that I've held back on adjusting. Now I can do it. Lower this part. 그러잖아요. 그래다. あれ、違うか。これがマックスなのでは? What has been the hardest part about studying for you? Just the process in general of studying, been burned out on art lately, and trying to find more way to make it fun. Hardest part? Hardest part. The first thing that came to mind was the mental part. Like, just to get started, I think that's the hardest part for me. But I mean, that's not really answering the question, I think, because it's more about the process, I think. In that case, the trickiest part. Wait, hang on. I'm gonna get DDoS by the music group. If it's the actual art process part, I think the hardest has always been figuring out the best way to kind of structure the workflow. Every artist sort of paints it differently, and I've never really had an artist that I like a lot, so I never focus my studies on one person. So what that means is every time I do a study, it's a different process. Because the final result, the final illustration is off a different process, it becomes really hard to find a very efficient way to do it. I always do it in the same way, which is like one color, one layer. But in terms of stuff like this right now, where there's a lot of painting involved, a lot of rendering involved, that doesn't really work well, because you don't get to blend colors, you don't get to use gradient maps that effectively on a single, say for example, plane of the pillar, since all the colors will be on different layers. It'd be kind of annoying to work with. So that's what I'm trying to overcome here. Everything else, stuff like colors and values, those things, I would say also pretty hard for me. But what I do usually is I'm more, you know, interested in the process and the rendering technique than actually being good at spotting colors and values. So I usually just pick the colors and values. So that's kind of all the hard stuff, I think. There's some other like technically hard stuff, like stuff that you cannot tell what's happening. Like when you're looking at the screen, you look at the techniques that they've used, like the textures or like the effects, and then you just have no idea what's happening. I don't know what's happening there. That's pretty hard, but that's just kind of how it is. I don't know if that's really that relevant in that regard. But yeah, I think that's about it. There's probably more stuff. Being on stream shuts down my brain like quite a bit. Yeah, of course. Thanks for asking. Gives me an opportunity to share. These are very subtle color changes. So what's the plan here? The plan here is, so we went from big shapes, from big pieces of value into smaller pieces of value, but they are still very distinct, like saturation values. We don't have all the blending, we don't have all this like soft edges. Those will be easier in a single paint over layer. So what I'm doing now is I'm just gonna set up then. I'm gonna set up where each plane is roughly in this correct value range that I want it to be in. Then I'm going to move in and paint over on top, I think. And then if this process works out, we can keep going at it. If it doesn't work out, then so be it. Actually, we can already do it like this. I don't have to stick to existing layers here. Because then I can make it a little bit faster. I don't have to get tied down. Oh, okay, okay. But at this stage, I still don't want to do soft edges yet. Because I know I'm just going to get overwhelmed. Like I always do. I don't know what like most of my viewers have in terms of like oh, what's the word actually? What kind of image like I have in my viewers' eyes, because I don't do a lot of these studies. This is basically one of the first few times we're doing like value studies. So I don't know how it's gonna work out. Like I don't know how this works, like in terms of helping you get better. I don't know where this all fits. Physical appearance would be interesting too, because I don't know. Next month I'm gonna try and start slowly working on like a VTuber model, just for fun. I'm not really taking the VTuber thing too seriously. We just kind of make one, use it. If it's too pain in the ass, I'm just gonna not use it. Oh, Barry, you mean like the VTuber stuff? Yeah, I have not a lot of experience. Okay, I have no experience basically, but I've played around with VTubers, VTube Studio before, just a little bit, just a very little bit, and it is. Wait, why am I dealing with the smart shapes here? It does look very intense. That's what I felt. It does look like it's gonna take a while. and I'm not sure if I'm up for that necessarily. I need to stop bothering with the small shapes. Let's restrict the brush size to at least 20 or something. 20 is kind of small, so I need to stop worrying about the smaller shapes at this point. I just want to get the values in. This bottom left seems kind of bright for me. Originally, I wanted to have like a little bit more of an established style before you get into that stage, but that doesn't look like it's gonna happen anytime soon. So I think for the VTuber model, I'm gonna go find, you know, someone out there who has a style that I like, and then I'm just gonna take some inspiration. Take some inspiration indeed. Too dark. Now it doesn't have any difference. No, I'm not gonna like, yeah, that's the thing, right? Like it's like the what's the question? It's like if you play RPG, do you get a female character when you're a male? And stuff like that. I always went with a male character because I always saw the character as an extension of myself. And I never had any issues where I want to just be a different person. I wish my life was different. I wish like life was more interesting. I wish like it was more like maybe magic, that kind of stuff. But I always wanted to live through that life as myself. So we're gonna go with a male model for sure. The original plan called for making like a female avatar as well. I wanted to make my own character as like a VTuber. And then I was gonna let a program take control of that. The program will read chat and then do some reaction and then do emotes and stuff like that. And I already did the proof of concept like a couple years back. So I do have the old code for that. The new one I didn't. I wanted to do some research and try to come up with something that's slightly better, but it was too much work. The goal for the stream at the end of the day is not to grow the channel, it's still just to get better at art, so I cannot justify putting in time to that. So I think that's gonna probably be scraped. At least for now. Oh, very faint gradient here. これでいいのか? これでいいでしょう。ここ Probably slightly brighter, I think. Yeah, bottom right is definitely not dark enough, but I don't want to bring in the gradient though. If the gradient is very obvious, I'm inclined to leave it till the end so I can use the actual gradient to take care of it, but it is kind of annoying to look at it and have a difference in value right there. That is so jarring. But then again, I could still go darker a little bit more. もうちょいやってもいいのでは。オッケーオッケーオッケー。Everyone's on the grind. I think there is enough difference over here. I think that's a good skill to have, for streamers at least. Balus? Balus? Okay, I think we can go in now. Oh, interesting. That is interesting. Surely that's not an accident, right? I mean, they've been streaming way longer than I did. Surely. For 2 months? Oh my god. Interesting. Some kind of lock-in. Super locked in.これもそうだけどね。まだ足りないか。I see. Reminds me of that one time I saw that one Japanese guy who was practicing to be a streamer in VR chat. He was just talking to himself out of the game. And then he got a shock when he came back and there was people actually sitting around him just listening to him talk. Okay, before I move on to full paint over, I want to add some of the details just in case I forgot. I forgot. Thicker than that? 30? From where to where is this coming from? All the way from that side? Exit near the stairs, okay. Entry above the other building, cool. So actually it's the same thing. Just need to be more gradual with this. And then the railings. Bottom almost check. Okay. Good night, Yaz. Have a nice night. Have a nice day. Six ping. Check. Traditional. Why did I do that? Yes. Oof. One, two, three, one. Is my tablet dying or am I seeing pixels? Oh. My god. Multiple made me burn out. I don't know what to do with burnout too. So I just came back to doing studies. Let's leave that for the pillar. Ooh, what else do I've got? Railings. Still not open right now in the background. I think it's hard. I think like for stuff like that, if you force it out, it always feel like it's not good for me. I think, yeah, that's the problem. Like, I feel like that's why I never really wanted to start drawing my own thing. Until I felt like I was, like, competent enough, proficient enough. Because otherwise, I would take the inspiration, I would draw it, and then I'll screw it up. And it'll take forever to churn it out, and then it will not look good, and it will be ruined. So I'd rather be kind of dead inside and not get those inspirations now. Because they would just be a waste. And I wait until I'm actually good enough to attempt it. At that point, it wouldn't just be attempting anymore, it would just be executing. Hello, the virus. Yes, I'm actually doing the setup for the painting. I mean, it's mostly intact already. This thing is mostly intact already. I just want to take note of the really subtle color changes on all the walls and pillars and whatnot. But before that, I'm doing a separate layer just to hold the details in place, so I don't forget. Why are there two things here, anyways? I don't really care. By my own standards, I still have a long way to go before I will let myself draw my own illustrations properly, I think. But right now we're working towards it, so it's pretty good. Only waited 30 years to do this. 30,000 years. 足りないかこれ。Connect? Yes, thank you. Okay. So I got the floor tiles, and then I've got some thing hanging here. What is this? So it's probably better to be on the main layer here. Got it. Oh, cause it's locked. Ah. これでいい。次。Box that can be later. Ooh, and just grab these guys and we can move on. Got it. Oh. 違うのか。Yeah. Okay, that's the second set. So next I'm just gonna put a layer on top and I'm just gonna paint, I think. And preserve as many shapes as we can. So this is just big shapes. Wait, no. So maybe a few color. Uh, Right, but even if I paint over, there's no need to be so strict and not use any of the layers, because that's kind of stupid. So yeah, let's not do this. I don't need this folder then. I just stick to these guys here. I'm gonna start here. Yeah, like if you set up masks, then you can just work on one layer. That works too. But masks, I think it's interesting. It would work if every single element, the like how do I say, the silhouette of each element is already confirmed. So like for example over here, if I'm working on this this pillar here. Wait, what? Why can I not draw on this? What? This is what I'm talking. Anyways, this thing, yeah, right? I can make a mask for this guy and then just paint over everything on top on a single layer. But if I ever want to change the contour, it would be difficult. Is there any benefit to working on the same layer? Oh, the color blending. Yes. If I flatten every single layer here, then we would have the color blending available to us. Because right now, if I want to blur, for example, if I want to blur the dark parts, it wouldn't work, I think. I mean, right now it's only black and white, so if I just blur the edges, it will look like it's blended, but if there's color, it wouldn't work. Ooh, so actually painting over everything might not be a bad idea in that regard, with masks. And the workflow is very similar to some of the stuff I've seen for other people who does, they do 3D modeling, then they render one scene out, then they do like the color masking method where they can generate a set of I guess color. It's like a map where you can select from, and every different plane will have its own color, so you can select every single plane in the image and work on it like effectively, even though it's just one layer. Yeah, like let me think. So right now if I work on this, no, what I should do is I should merge each individual set. So for example, this can be merged down to one layer. So now I still got the benefit of working on this guy, but I can blend and it doesn't affect the other ones. So we have a little bit of like the best of both worlds, I guess. That is interesting. So what does this mean for me then, actually? So in my brain, I'm still trying to train out what the formula is, because right now it does seem like every element. So for example, in this case, the pipe should have been on its own set of layers. And then the thing in front, this support beam in the front with all the, I don't know, antennas, should have been on its own layer here, instead of being on the same layer. So that when I merge down, I will have one for the pipe and one for the beam here. And I can work on them separately. That would have been more natural. So that means that when I'm splitting stuff by layers in the very beginning, as I'm blocking each element out. Okay, I see. I should have been more aware. So we're not blocking stuff out by color strictly. So in my usual workflow, I will block every single color on its own layer, because that's the whole point. But if I want to have painting, if I want to blend colors, I cannot do that. So I should block every single object on its own layer. And therefore, I can have the best of both worlds. I have some layer that allows the workflow to be a bit cleaner, but I still have all the colors I need on the same layer so I can paint. Yeah, cutting, you can cut, but it's just additional steps, I think. So we get the big shapes right, but this big shapes definition here needs to be a little bit more smart. It should be... big shapes should refer to each individual object here. So the whole point of this is so that we can have layering to help with well, to reduce color bleeding, to keep things what's the word, clean for now, and then I have colors on the same layer to blend. Alright, where did my... what? Oh, it's over here. So what we have so far has been pretty good. I think I should have made this, I don't know, this concrete block on its own layer. And then the pipe should have separated the pipe with the antenna stuff. The pillar would have been nice on its own layer, I think. So that I can put some gradients on near the bottom without affecting the bottom here, the railing here. The floor might have been interesting on its own layer, but I can always do selection tool as a pretty clean cut. Same for the pillar, I guess then. Stairs? Stairs is interesting. It's part of the same object, but the color values are kind of different. So I could have split that on its own thing, or at least added a layer on top just for the stair. Oh, from front to back. Interesting. Indeed, indeed. Yeah, that is a very concise way to put it. Yeah, that is a very concise way to put it. Yes. Front to back. Yes, thank you very much. That is a very concise way to put it. That is exactly what that is. Whatever that's in front should be on its own layer. If it's clear, like a clear form of overlap, it should be on its own layer. That makes sense. Coloring wise, yeah, by virtue of the fact that's in front implies that it is a different object. Well, not necessarily, but okay, okay. That's cool, that's cool, that's cool. Pretty good. Good shit, we're learning stuff. Shit, but in the meantime, I guess this is already too late for this setup here. I can still cut it out like you said, so maybe I'll just do that. Real quick. It's a bit of a curve here though, but do I care? Eat? Oh, something weird's happening. Oh, because of the selection, I think. Yeah. For the back, I have to clean up the thing a bit, anyways. Otherwise, when we blend, it's gonna look weird. The thing is gonna behave kind of weird. Actually, let me just copy and paste this down. Good enough. Chotto matei. Yeah, chotto matei. Alright. Did I do it? What? What am I pressing? Control. Why isn't it cutting? What's happening? Do you go? There we go. Up this, merge this. Okay. Alright, that should be fixed. Oh, no one's gonna see that, so that's fine. Yeah, they're definitely using some kind of layering. Sorry, not layering. Gradient map. There's something going on here. It's like green and red tones. Okay, and then now the next problem is how do I like to blend colors? I've always used blur so far because every time it's one color, one layer, so blurring makes sense. But now, will blurring work well here? Why does it have texture actually? Why is it doing that? Is that my display thing? Wait, hang on. Is that Clip Studio or is that's Clip Studio? It's not my display. Oh. Ah, 이게 더네. Let me lock this. Now let's merge everything down first. What is this? Oh, the building outside. Ooh, the buildings outside I'm gonna ignore. Out of scope. Interesting. Of course, of course. Okay. It's almost 11. Okay, I'm gonna go to the washroom real quick. All right. Hmm. Honestly, just the art style like this is pretty fine already. I feel like if I can do this with like I don't know, with like a photo reference or something, I think that's already good enough. Actually, what is it I'm trying to do here? I see all the subtle colors, but I don't know if I can capture that. Yeah, what does the value look like? Yeah, the value is non-existent. Like, you cannot see the forms in the value only one. So then the plan would just be to... So far I only know of 2 ways to add colors. One is gradient map and the other one is to use a brush that has a color jitter in it. If you keep the hue the same, we have a little bit of... Sorry, we keep the value the same, we have a bit of jitter on the hue. What about saturation? I think saturation has jitter too. Let me grab this real quick. Let's see. Oh, there is value jitter. Huh? No, but this is just a normal value transition. Wait, how are they doing this? That means the value adjustment came later, actually. That means it probably came from the gradient because it's so consistently changing. Instead of jittering around. It's slowly getting more saturated too. Huh? Like, this is the most obvious case of just toggling hue, keeping everything else the same. And this is almost invisible on the value side. Yeah, honestly, it's fine, I guess. Still darker, but not by a lot. Okay, yeah, we know that. I mean, we just did the value thing. Very minor hue changes, okay. How about these two? Darker, brighter. Saturated, less saturated. Difference in hue. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so what does that mean for me? What do I want to do here? Because this level of shape, like, details is pretty good already. Oh. Should I focus on the details then? Oh no, never mind. You know what? I know what I'm working on now. Yeah, it'd just be the details and the rendering. Some of the brush strokes, the brush work. I figure out, like, if there's anything special about it. Just by going through the motion. And that'll be the objective for now. Because my original question for this illustration was what to do with all the difference in colors, like all these very minor color differences, and how does that reflect in the value? And the answer is basically it doesn't really get reflected in the value. It's very similar. So that means we have to leave it to color studies, and right now value wouldn't really do much anymore. We have most of it anyways, but we can still go further, and that would just be looking at all the details and see how it's being rendered. And then that will be that for this one. Cool. Alright, let's do just that. Start with this pillar, this pipe thing. Okay, so we have blend, we have blur, we have other watercolor brushes. I will just use what is more natural if I'm painting this. I will need a brush that's able to put down color and blend at the same time. which we used to use smooth watercolor, which apparently doesn't exist in like newer versions of Clip Studio. Because I made a new account and then I couldn't find this brush, but this brush is also not necessarily the easiest to use, so. But does that matter? Actually, we can always leave this question later. So, big shapes not having layer to blend. So, very minor. Sorry. So color variations mostly keep the same value, and cases to change. Overall. Overall gradient. Whoops. The study is good for who? Oh, I see. The brushstrokes that we see for value studies would be inherently different for the brush than the brushstrokes that we see for color, because these one has to value has to show form. That means that the brushstrokes we see here, or rather the shapes that we see here, will be specifically to detail form, and so it's good for knowing how people simplify forms, essentially. Whereas the color one is, whereas color studies, or rather colored studies, good for brushwork, for increasing, I guess, detail, without affecting form so much, basically. Okay, this makes sense why people want you to do value first, right? I mean, I should have known that, but anyways. Cool. So in the meantime, I'm going to ignore, yes, and the last thing I want to write down is that actually it'll be here. And do merge each area. Ah, yes, welcome back. I'm rediscovering stuff that I should already know right now. And merge each, I guess, object layers to enable blending / painting more freely. Can be blend, blur, watercolor, etc. Save the wording for color studies later. Cool. Making notes so we don't lose what we learned. Not that I ever go back and read these things, to be honest. Alright, back to this. Okay, now I can finally move on. Composition tool for focal point, the accuracy of color rendering. Yes, so value is also good for checking out the composition. But we'll do compositional studies down the line later. When I get a little bit more comfortable with painting backgrounds and we want to paint some of our own backgrounds, I think that is where the that would come in play. Well, basically, I think my plan then would just probably be to go through like the entire Arknight's background repository. I'll go through every single image there, and then do like a foreground, midground, background value quote unquote study, just to see how people are composing, I guess. Yes, composing is the word, indeed. Oh yeah, another thing I started liking is that sometimes I find it like you have to blur certain edges, but like after you blur it, it might look kind of bad. So I've recently started to like just painting it back a little bit and just showing the brushstrokes just a little bit. So combined with the smooth edge, so now it has kind of like best of both worlds in that sense. Yes, AIR definitely ruined like the whole realistic thing. Like it used to be a show of skill and mastery. Nowadays you can't tell if it's real. And where's the fun in that too, right? Like kind of you're kind of doing art to escape the real world. I mean, back then we don't have computers and stuff, so it's really cool. But now it's like, dude, you want to do realistic rendering, you just freaking use a computer, man. Like, why would you do it yourself? Kind of sucks, but this is about it. There's no need to go too much further. Man, I should have just started painting backgrounds and stuff way earlier. In simpler forms. Humidity. Humidity. Wee. Yes, now I get access to my airbrush. Very nice. Finally can get some gradients in here. Oh, こんなに? Oops. Do I plan to add color? I plan to redraw the whole thing with color. That's the plan. I intend to just redo the whole thing with color. I might use like... So I'll go back to the very initial stages where I have just the most basic forms. And then instead of doing it black and white, then I would put colors in. I only want to save the time where I want to skip the time where I spend on trying to get the shapes correct. But I want to spend all the time I should be spending on getting the colors correct. So no more color picking for me. My color picking days are over, I hope. That's not true, but... Yes, from eye drop to eyeball. I feel very inadequate not being able to tell what some colors are. Like today I saw like this Twitter post where someone was mixing like traditional medium, right? So you have to mix your own colors. And they have to learn how to mix colors by eye, right, too. They have to figure out like, oh, this color you mix this amount of blue with this amount of red and this amount of yellow. And I was looking at that, I'm like, man, I can't even pick it out from the freaking color wheel, bro. Feels bad, man. You know, I don't want to go up to people and tell people like, oh, I draw. I like drawing, and then like, you know, I've been drawing for a few years, and then I can't pick color, and like... Well, that's part of the reason anyways. Like another reason would just be that without picking the colors myself, I never understood what colors I'm using. So every time I paint something, I'm just picking colors, and the next time I will try to do the same thing without the reference, I can't do it. There's nothing in my head. It's just blank. And also the workflow, I think. Gotta get the workflow, man. Right now we're struggling with the workflow already with just black and white. It's gonna be more tricky with the colored stuff. I gotta iron that out, especially because I do like the sort of rendered feel. I've always had like the biggest dilemma. I always enjoyed things that are as realistic as possible. That was back then anyways. Nowadays I'm slowly starting to lean away from it, but back then I always liked realistic stuff, and then it's really hard to do. And it has a lot of conflicts with like stylized stuff too, so very conflicted. You can never choose, you can never commit, and I'm not doing it, and things got delayed. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Usually I have a point, but... Alright, good night, Silver. See you soon. Wait, what day is today? Tuesday? Tuesday. Okay. I would like to just add that whatever that I just said is probably like only 50% true. Because once I start autopiloting, I don't know what I'm talking about. There's a chance that I'm just talking nonsense. I think it's somewhat true, but I cannot confirm right now. Processing is offline. Man, what's happening here, bro? There's so many things happening. Okay, I don't understand what these things are, so I don't know what the form they're trying to portray is, because I can't really tell from just the lines. So I am going to ignore it, because there's no point doing it. If I don't understand it, it's not going to retain. I'm gonna save the time to do something else, so. This I do understand, the top and the side. Oh yes, I just realized my brain is offline. Or look, I'm just copy and pasting colors. But it's okay, we got quite a bit of stuff out of this study already. I'm okay with just being a little bit more lax now. Yeah, my ramblings, man. I don't like to ramble. I don't like to speak when there's nothing interesting to say. The ramblings are things that I think is still at least interesting to say. It's just that if I don't focus on my speech, I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. Ramblings are good for figure. It's debatable. Like, I think what I noticed before is that sometimes, I mean, a lot of times where there's nothing to say, I would just let the music play, right? I might even turn the music up louder. And then every time I open my mouth, like 3 people will leave the stream. I will see the number drop, like 100%. The numbers would drop. And I mean, that's not why I don't want to talk. I don't really mind that the numbers drop. I just think it's very interesting. And I do think that some people are just here to chill and listen to music. Although, I suppose it's not really the best place. Oh, but if I'm quiet, I guess it makes sense. If I'm quiet, that works out. Yeah, like if you start off with just anime stuff, lacking the fundamentals is seriously like a big problem. Especially because I was never convinced that I needed the fundamentals to do anime art. I should remember, you guys know like Fubuki's artist, right? Lemon Mito. I remember going to his stream and asking if he was a self-taught artist. I think looking back now, I think it was a little bit more obvious than I thought it was. But I guess I just wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth. I think it's them realizing you are in the queue. That is true. I'm catfishing like crazy with my with everything. There's no like I keep talking about how like I'm gonna make a male avatar, but everything right now I've presented so far is my female character. So oh my god, it looks so wonky. But that is to be expected, I guess. To stay in streams. Rya, Rya. I named her when? I don't know, 2011. I remember 2011, I made like a list. I was in my bedroom. I took a piece of paper and I started writing down all the alphabets of the English language, and I wanted to find a word, a name rather, that I haven't heard of, that I don't know anyone by the name of, because I wanted the name to be unique. I wanted the name to remind me of this character if I ever hear it. So I went through all the letters of the alphabet. There were some alphabets I don't like. Oh, did I say that? I don't know if I ever said that. Maybe it was like a miscom, but I'm pretty sure I mentioned that she was main before on stream, and then her being named like all those years ago. Yawn. I'm kinda tired of drawing boxes, god damn it, dude. What are these boxes, man? Was it about my own account? Because I feel like I wanted to change my channel name, but I don't know what to change it to. Did I say that actually? I don't remember now. Brain no work. That's fine. Good enough. Good enough. And then the ID card thing, yeah. I think I always carry one on me. Let me check. It should be here. Yeah, I have it here. The name on the card was blotted out for lore reasons, but it was never confirmed. It's just the ongoing lore back then. Although it's kind of become canon now. I think that's kind of how my world building is gonna go. I will make like a random decision one day, and then if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't stick, then come out with something else. Or figure out why it doesn't stick, and then come out with something else, I guess. It's gonna be quite the journey, though. Considering the fact that I don't want to decide on the lore. I wanted to discover it. It's gonna take a while. God damn. Also, I cannot tell which one's darker. Literally the same value, okay. It's basically the same thing, huh? That works for me. Not that I care. Just need to know it. Once I can draw backgrounds a little bit more comfortably, we can start doing more of these quote-unquote storytelling-ish ones, even though I probably won't be telling any stories. You guys would know because you guys would be here. Bob and Mary. Did I do that many bad drawings? Come on, man. That's what you know me for? I'm not ashamed though. I'm not ashamed. One might even say proud. We need more bad drawings, honestly. It's not enough. Oh yeah, like after Friday last week, I was talking to Mia. Like usually we would have a little bit more of a talk after we stream, after we end stream on Fridays, or my Fridays, which is basically Saturdays for Asia. But that was where I sort of decided that I should come back to studies. I mean, I kind of was going to come back to studies anyways because I seriously cannot do anything else. But that was when I realized that all the anatomy stuff we did before kind of reflected how do I say this? Like the progress that I made there is kind of reflected in the sketches that I did, like the 3 pages worth of sketch, even though the target was 10. But I don't think that was realistic anyways, right off the get-go. So in a sense, like all the work that we did on stream kind of worked. It was there, it either imbued confidence or it gave us like anatomy knowledge to get us sketching those sketches. And, you know, those sketches look fine. There wasn't a lot of issues even looking at it a few weeks afterwards, so I think that's good. That proves to myself that at least we're on the right track. So that kind of made me realize that, you know what, like we should come do renderings. Because hopefully, you know, when we're done with all the rendering stuff, maybe for the next 3 months, I don't know how long this is gonna take, we will be able to do some paintings of our own, and the improvement will be reflected in those paintings then, hopefully. Oh, this is kind of bright. Very bright. Okay, I need to start mixing colors. I'm still allergic to mixing colors right now, apparently. I'm only using airbrushes. Actually, let me add that in here. Oh, where did I put it? What's your layers, object, blender, watercolor, airbrush. Let me just add it here. Now, don't worry about missing streams. I don't have a lot of new things to talk about, so more than likely we'll probably be talking about the same thing again. Future streams. I find myself repeating myself a lot on stream. Oh, actually, like this is one of the things I learned about myself when streaming. And I guess humans in general is looking for that feedback in the conversation. You're looking for that acknowledgement from the person you're talking to. But you don't really get that necessarily on stream. So a lot of times I'm like, you know, what I just said kind of makes sense, might be kind of like yeah, exactly. Like when people ask me about like oh, do you have any advice, like how would you do anatomy or how would you do perspective and stuff like that, these are the topics that I know a little bit about, but I don't feel confident enough to be like, oh, this is what you should do and it will get you there, trust me bro. I don't have that confidence. So when I'm speaking, I really lack that confidence, and now there's no acknowledgement. So in my head, I think it's being perceived as what I'm saying does not make a lot of sense. So as I'm speaking, I'm losing confidence, and then I'm inclined to say it again. Because I'm inherently waiting for that. Yes, that makes sense, right? I'm inherently waiting for that acknowledgement, which never comes sometimes. And this is not a complaint, by the way. This is just an observation. Streaming is interesting. It's like both at the same time a very public thing because you're in front of everyone, but at the same time it's a very private thing because you're still alone, and you're still, and especially if you're self-conscious, right? Like you're constantly thinking about what you're saying and whether if it makes sense, or whether if you're offending someone, or whether if it could be phrased in a clearer or more concise manner. And it becomes like this mirror where every time I stream, I learn a little bit more about myself, about the way I think, about my own insecurity. Oh yeah, insecurity, that's the word. Oh, that is an interesting way to question. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? That is what the Japanese would say, yasashi. Oh, kind of dark here. Too bright still, huh? Yes, I think that is my biggest weakness right now. Shapes, rendering, colors. I said that is the one thing, and then I named 3 things. I think I've been too reliant on lines. Without lines, I crumble. That is unacceptable. At least for where I want to go. Where I want to be, rather. Where I want to go? I guess that works. My perspective is kind of different. So it's not matching 100% here. With this sidewall here. But it's brighter than the stairs, so at least I can do that. I want a little bit of this color, but not so dark. Thank you very much. Maybe I can afford a little bit of transparency here. Some overlapping shapes probably wouldn't annoy me that much now that everything's mostly intact. Man, do I hate like when the brush is like semi-transparent, like 50% opacity or something, and then the brush strokes keep overlapping with itself? It's so annoying. I don't like that kind of marker-esque sort of texture. I guess it reflects my personality. Yeah, it's very interesting. I like things black and white, but I also know at the same time that there's no black and white in this world. And right and wrong only exists if you're basing it off of some kind of standard, so... Pencil and charcoal. What is the difference between pencil and charcoal? As in charcoal, as in like only thing I can think of is what is darker? Perhaps? Mayhaps? One is messier, different softness and texture. Damn, I know what those words mean, but I don't know what that implies. Never used it. Yeah, with this is a lot more dirtier. The shapes are dirtier. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I remember a time where I went to like this traditional artist's house just to learn like art from this guy. But he's very much one of those still life painters where he only paints like realistic fruits and stuff. So right off the get-go, I had like basically zero respect. I had no respect. And then he started teaching me stuff like, this is how you sit in front of an easel. This is how you hold a pencil. And I'm like, I want to draw anime art, bro. What am I doing this for? I like, at the very least, you know, just teach me the fundamentals. Don't teach me how to hold a pencil. I'm never gonna hold a pencil like this on my tablet. And then over time, I got like really fed up and I just stopped. So the only thing I really learned from the guy is just how to draw straight lines. And which is not very useful, obviously. Because it doesn't even translate like over on to my tablet because of the way you're holding the pen and like the traditional fine arts way of holding the pencil. Yeah, the pencil, not the pen. Man, I hated it. And the thing that really ticked me off the most was that there was like you would draw from like, okay, you're looking at these blocks in real life, right? And you're drawing from these blocks in real life. And you're gonna suck. It's gonna be out of proportion, the value's gonna be wrong, that kind of stuff, this and that. But his solution to teaching you is to just freaking take over your canvas, erase your wrong stuff, and just draw the correct one on top. I'm like, how am I supposed to learn? You're not telling me what I did wrong. You're just doing the correct thing in front of me. Like, what? How am I supposed to learn from this? Like, I didn't even know what I did wrong. And then I never went ever after that. Like, I like, what's happening here, bro? And also, like, he's not like exactly like strictly someone we didn't know. It was like a friend of my mom's friend or something. It's like a mess. And then we had suspicions that he was just trying to drag out the lesson so he can get paid more to pay for rent. Because he didn't have any other job, unfortunately. That was one experience with like a proper art teacher, I think. The stairs are not quite even, but I guess that makes sense. Don't really need that to be even. Even Steven. Grab an in-between color here. I wonder how he's doing actually. But it's not like I'm like on talking terms with I don't even know the guy, so I can't exactly just hit him up and be like, hey, how are you doing? He's pretty good at still life though. You gotta give him that. He's won awards before or something. But I don't know, man. My anime go doesn't look like orange, so good luck with that. I don't think I'll be teaching him how to draw, I don't think. He is very good at what he does. It'd be cool to be able to cross paths again. And just to see what's up. Oh wait, that's not it. Kore da kore. Kore 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 kore. Wee. Huh? Oh wait, wrong brush. I need to start collecting all the brushes I like into one spot here. The reason why they're also separated in like different sections is because I want to keep track of where they're from. In case I ever need that information. But it's time to. Would I be stunned? I would not. Would I be stunned? I would be a little bit surprised, but I wouldn't be that surprised. I mean, it is one of the biggest employers right now, right? Of like artists. Anime related, like games and stuff. So if he's really looking for a job, you know. If I were him, I would do it. Because he's not gonna make money drawing oranges and apples. One of them is the eraser. Oh, whoops. Some dirty lines, dirty forms in here. It's the wrong brush again. God damn it. Stop doing that. And all those years of muscle memory of selecting that one smooth watercolor brush is... It's haunting me, man. I cannot get out of it. Everyone turns to anime eventually. Wait, no way, Mark Brunez draws anime? I don't really watch a lot of his video. I've only watched some, but I remember... Ah, shit. Mark Brunette did like the Disney one, right? Did like some Disney work, right? If I remember correctly. Is the one? Him and Marco Bucci every time. Like, I don't know who's who. Keep mixing them up. I remember seeing his video on the colors thing and I thought, yeah, that was pretty cool. You should go through gray. Yeah, makes sense. Never used it once in my life yet. Yeah, it is the MB confusion. Don't know either well enough. What the hell is this? Oh, but I guess it's just detail. Alternating between like planes where there's smooth color transition and like planes where there's just a lot of random bits and blobs. I do really like the strokes, like the lines here. I like it when the color transition is like big shape, then slightly smaller shape, slightly smaller shape, slightly smaller shape, and then further spaced apart, kind of like. Mark be doing dan. Oh, really? Oh shit, I gotta see. Who started? Mark Burnett anime. Why is he naked in this video? Why is he half naked? What? Is he naked in this one? Oh no, that's just his shirt. His shirt is like brown, light brown or something. $1.7 million subscribers, damn. But he does have an art school, so that makes sense. Alright, the hourly tablet adjustment so that it doesn't fall. Okay, pretty cool. Oh yeah, all the recent videos are like all anime stuff. Man, gotta respect content creators, man. How are you able to churn out this many videos? Like, I don't have anything to talk about. What are these people talking about? This is why you can't draw. Like, I don't think I ever feel comfortable in making a video that's titled "This is why you can't draw." There's other videos here attempting and failing to draw manga. You can use gradient or shapes like that to introduce color variation, cause nothing in real life exists as a solid color one. Right, yeah. How should I say this? I feel like I've always seen like those simplifications. It's just that I've never felt comfortable or confident enough to use it, because it always felt weird when I do it. I would do it and then it will look weird just because I've never seen someone use the exact same shapes with the exact same color changes. I mean, there's probably issues with the colors too. But then I would get really demoralized, discouraged, and then I would never use it. Never do it. Oh wait, how did he get the transition like that? Oh, we're not using lasso tools and airbrushes enough, but I don't really need necessarily to do that. A little bit. Raw straw content is popular, so I think about it really. Is that shade? How's Raw Straws like right nowadays? I haven't seen his videos in a while. Honestly, like YouTube and like content creation is just being consistent in the posting and in the quality, and then people will come. Is what I am inclined to believe, but I've yet to prove that. So I have a solid color introduce variation later. Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna have some fun with the color version of this later in the week. Probably tomorrow. I'll just start it tomorrow because I mean this is pretty alright, I think, by itself already. Even if the color is this simple, but if we can render up something with this many shapes, this level of detail, with decently interesting colors and cohesive colors, I'm satisfied for now. You can even do something more original. Seriously though, you are doing good with artist study if you continued it. Yes, I do believe there is potential there. It's just that my goal was never to grow YouTube. I feel kind of conflicted. There's so many things I want to do, but I guess I can never give up my original dream and target. Because I do wish I can make more videos. I've been thinking, like right now, since I'm rendering anyways, I could maybe record it and then find time to come out with something that's a little bit more shorter videos, maybe not mukbang videos. That's a one video one type of video content that I cannot make because I don't eat that much. Yeah, but I forgot to record this one, so I better remember to record the next time where we do an actual like color render. Opacity will work. Opacity would work. That is true. Wait a second. If I use a... If the opacity doesn't have any pressure sensitivity, but it's always fixed at half, so I can always just paint like this, and until I lift up the brush, it will not overlap, right? So that's fine. But if I have this as max and then I have pressure sensitivity, now I can... Does it overlap with itself? Oh, it doesn't. It only overlaps if you're pressing harder. Oh, okay. Only then, okay. So as long as I don't lift my brush, it would be fine. And with pressure opacity, then I can, you know, just get better. I can just get good at controlling the brush, and we should be able to paint a little bit more freely. Because after the first stroke, I would have, ideally, the color that I want to use. I can pick from that. Then I don't have to worry about the pressure after that. Maybe let's give this a try. What was the issue I had before? Oh no, it's because I was doing individual strokes. Yeah, opacity, pressure sense. It's interesting. If you change it every time, how does that feel like drawing? Is it weird that I've never considered stuff like this before up till now? It's been so many years. What am I doing now? Right, so this is like one level of opacity. Now I can do a second level. I can keep this part a little bit darker. Right, but if I want to force erase, then it'll be difficult. So then I can max it out and just paint over it. Like theoretically, I feel like having pressure sensitivity might be better, just because that flexibility is always there and available. I guess this requires more mastery to control. Let me get some textures in. Indeed. Yeah, over the next few weeks, I'll try to keep in mind and try some of these things out. It's about time we try some new patterns and techniques and workflow. I do feel a little bit overwhelmed in terms of the amount of options I have available. This is actually slightly brighter. can keep it like this for now. But that's actually the other thing. This one is actually the bright part. I kind of messed it up, but it's okay. Yeah, work through other buildings and then we can work through plants and vegetation. Oh, a lot of stuff to work through. I'll let myself go to Japan after I can paint vegetation, I think. It'll be a big problem if I go to Japan and I cannot paint vegetation. And then I get inspired. Akarusugi. Anyone in Japan right now in the chat? Not that I have a question for you, I'm just curious. As an eraser instead of actual eraser? Indeed, yeah. I'm not so much like the way my brain works is that when I want to erase, I want it to be gone. I don't usually erase like a gradient in. I would erase the whole thing and paint the gradient in again, I think. That's what I would tend to do. Yeah, Mia's in Japan. I have a couple other friends in Japan. Why am I not able to paint here? What? Oh, this is on top? What? Am I working on the wrong layer? Oh, I'm working on the wrong layer. Thank you very much. Ah, yes, learn vegetation and I can watch Made in Abyss again. Cool, cool, cool. What's going on with the textures here? Just some brushstrokes here and there? There should be more than that. I think there's gradient, but I cannot tell. It's on the bright part, right? Okay, let's stick to this. And, yeah, it looks like a good place for some opacity tricks. Never mind. I think I have enough stuff to work with there. Oh wait, I can't do that. Hmm. Oh, probably ended my music. Didn't there be one more? Were we there already? No, what was this? Oh, we already went through it? Not quite, but we will be ending soon. So I'm just gonna like manually select some music here. Not worry about getting like a compilation. だよな。あら、死にます。And there sure is a lot of things to go through. There's one thing I forgot to think about is the what is it that I'm actually painting? Because I'm mostly just putting in values as I see them. I'm not really thinking through about the lighting. But I guess most of it is pretty straightforward here. Yeah, most of it seem pretty straightforward. Should be okay. ここまでか？ここまでね。No? It's usually a straightforward one to get you. I'm kind of worried because if I were to draw this without reference, even though we just did a study, I probably won't be able to go very far. What is this? Wait. Yeah, やりすぎたのかな。What? Oh. Oh yeah, I forgot to pin the reference link in the chat. Almost ending stream, but better late than never. It's like a very subtle texture on the ground and a lot of the the gradients, but I don't know if that's just because gradients exist and then they went through the JPEG compression and then it came out looking like this. It's very, very faint, but it is adding to the texture. Because mine looks very smooth, because I just use airbrush. It'd be nice if there's a little bit more stuff in it. Ensemble. Let's see if I get copyright with this. I mean the music. Might not be the best for stream because it is very faint in the beginning and then it gets very loud later. Guess I'll find out. Is there anything I can do here? If I just use a rake brush and rake it up, maybe that would be slightly better. Too painful. Even fainter. Wow. Glad to see you like them. Also welcome. Hello, Redux. Monday. the right shade? I think my eyes are getting tired looking at grays. Maybe if we get to 50 different shades, it might be more interesting. This is where it starts getting louder. Of course. Although I didn't read the book though, maybe I should. Optimus. Mine's still too clean. There's still so many like details with like the brushstroke here. A lot of different, very minor but important scratching, like details and textures and brushes and whatnot. Oh, what is this again? Oh, where did I get this from? Oh, right. Mark Burnett. Good. I don't know how to use that. contest. The gradients from a airbrush store. For what? Yeah, I'm basically just autopiloting the ref. I mean, I was curious about the textures that's being put in as well. Just trying to see how far we can get in terms of like getting it to look similar. Like being aware of like why the values are the way they are, that takes brain power, but like just kind of copying it and stuff takes a lot less. And then you can still learn like, oh, you know, oh, they're doing brushstrokes like this over here. I see, you know, stuff like that. So I think I'll actually use some layer mode, like multiply for the stuff we see over here. This is going through multiple colors here, and I think it's easier just to multiply it through. Overall adjustment, yeah, maybe we should wrap it up like a little bit more cleanly with like actual adjustments and like gradients and stuff like that. They're still pretty held back in terms of using gradients. Been avoiding it. Interesting, huh? Like even like these random shapes, I'm guessing I don't really see any pattern to them. Yeah, just a multiply layer, some random shapes in there. As to the detail, it doesn't really matter if it makes sense or not, I feel like. Can even have like reflection here, right? If there's reflection for the character, why not for these things here? More environment-centric ones? Yes, that is the plan, yeah. The plan is to just go for what I want to do. Because I've been avoiding this for a really long time. Thinking that I should be more prepared and stuff like that. It's time to stop waiting. Time to just go for it. So from now on, we'll just be doing everything will be environment. It will be a full illustration. It wouldn't just be a character. It wouldn't just be a pose. It wouldn't be limited to just a specific set of colors or something like that. I messed up the skin tone here. It should be a bit darker. And the ending here is kind of cheated a little bit. Indeed. So the background we didn't really touch because it's gonna take forever. But I'm gonna do some slight adjustments to bring it in a bit closer. No, I'm getting lazy. I'm gonna just use layer adjustments here to fix this. It's not quite accurate, but it's fine. Anything that is too out of place. Is that pipe not dark enough? Oh. If this doesn't exist, I'm just gonna add some glow just to see how it looks. Yeah, especially because we have the color layer, the light layer here is still available actually. I can just use this. Can I? Should I put it back here? No, but if I clip it, it doesn't make sense anymore. No? Oh, so you got the... Yeah, that's not gonna work. Never mind. Oh, right, but this affects it this way. Okay, how about... No, wait, it should be everything. Doesn't really make sense. Ahí está. Damn, I don't have enough contrast still. Oh my god. I still don't have enough contrast. Damn, I thought I was pushing it. Shit, man. So this is a lot stronger here. そうだ。じゃあこういう感じかな。Like the onset of the gradient, if it's there. I don't know if how much of it is. What is this? 24? 16. 11. 14. Not that off, but only by 3 points, and it feels pretty significant. I guess the way it's rendered as well, but... Two points? What? Yeah, I feel like it's probably fine. It's just that I'm trying to understand where is it that I'm still lacking here. Oh, here comes the copyright, but we're ending anyways, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of blown it out of proportion, but I guess that's fine. Hello, Rez. Okay, I need to... Wow, man, it sure doesn't look like that on my other monitor. Like, it doesn't look this dark. It doesn't look anywhere this dark. I think what I have here is actually what I'm seeing on the other monitor. Damn, if I move my thing to the other monitor, it gets brighter, yeah. So... Does that... Okay, what does that mean for me? It means that I don't care? No, I have to think about how I feel. Okay, no, let me just check the relative numbers here. So, this is 54, this is 20, this is 11. It's like halving. 68, 21. 69, ooh, 27. Plus, I like their balance a lot more. Like the thing is a lot more appealing to me. Is using adjustment considered a crime? Would it put out Photoshop or? No, I am trying to avoid using adjustments as much as possible because I want to train my eye to be able to tell when things are wrong. And especially, although in this case I hit my limit, so I just couldn't feel, I didn't feel like anything was off. But now I'm comparing to the original, and the original has a stronger contrast, and that feels a lot nicer to me. It feels a lot more pleasing to look at. Even just the black and white, it looks really nice. And then I come back to mine and I feel like... This look... Yeah, like, how... Like, mine looks like a random shit. I think it's because of the way that I rendered some of the details here. I have big shapes and I have very small tiny shapes, and there's no like middle ground, almost feels like. So it feels kind of weird. Here's the curve. Yeah, we can let's curve it towards that. Yeah, what do I want to use? Cone curve? Something like this. It's too much. My sky isn't bright enough. Oh wait, that's the other way. Something like this, I guess. It just didn't feel like that when I was rendering it. It didn't feel like I was holding back. It felt like I was already getting enough contrast, if not more than that. But if my monitor is actually not very good, yeah, if my monitor is making it less contrasty, then I guess I painted what I saw. No, I want to worry about it because it's I want to make things inherent like in me, like that I don't have to rely on the adjustments as much as possible. Because if I can feel it myself, then it's a lot more intuitive when I'm painting. Because then I don't have to fidget around with like adjustment layers while I'm painting. I know inherently that, oh, this feels off because so and so and so. So yeah, like tomorrow I'm thinking I still want to do like a colored study of this. So not necessarily a color study, but like a colored study, which I think is the same thing. Is that the same thing? Maybe we should do a color study first, just to put in all the colors first. And then, although if we do that, then at that point, there's really no need to come back to this illustration. We can actually take a photographs and try to map the colors onto the photograph. And then we can try and practice that way. Because we do have quite a few of those Japanese Twitter accounts that's going around taking photos of like urban buildings. So we'll find one where there isn't, you know, vegetation, because I cannot do that. And then we can do something about that. We can do some painting like that. Something like this, for example. And then try and apply what we learned. What did we learn? I learned some shapes. I learned some workflow related stuff. What did we learn in the workflow actually? What did I write down? Shit, where are my numbers? Where are my words? So we will do value studies. Okay, let me just put a new piece of music up since it's gonna take a bit longer than I expected. So we're split by foreground, midground, and background. And then we get the values roughly right. And we start off with just the big shapes. So we start off with just layers where it's the big shapes. So it would be like this. With the big shapes. Then for each big shape, we kind of split into the lighter and the darker tones. So each one gets its brightest and its darkest. Brightest, darkest. Brightest, brightest, darkest. Brightest and the darkest. And so on and so forth. And then we further split it down into like slightly bright and whatnot. Oh, interesting. Actually, when I'm splitting the values, when I did it this time, I'm just kind of arbitrarily choosing different values here. Maybe I should control the value itself instead of just arbitrarily choosing. I don't know if there will be a difference here. It's worth trying next time just to see if there's any difference, I think. But no, getting values roughly right is more important because it's a value study. I guess it's not that intuitive. Anyways. So we do big shapes first and whatnot. And then after that is... Right, it needs to be split according to the different objects. And then I don't really need this line for the smaller props anymore, because it's basically just splitting by objects, that's fine. Then when this stage is done, we can merge layers together. Right, we get a little bit more color in. Then we merge stuff together and paint. And then if we can do a color study, we can figure out what colors are being used. Then combined with this workflow that we did, combined with the values that we did, we should be able to paint the illustration by ourselves, given a photo reference. Because from the reference, we can split the foreground, midground, and background, but this time directly using colors in the correct values. Then each time we're splitting the object's faces, we are still using simpler colors first. Okay, so that's where the color study comes in, because in that stage where we are splitting more colors, we are splitting more values in, we need to decide on what colors to use. We can use the same color. So we need to know the color transition between the bright and the dark so that we can figure out how it's going to work. Color variations will come off of the base set of colors that we use. That means the base set is still a problem. So I'm still missing that part. So that's what the color studies we need to find out, I think. Let's see. So if it's a color study, that means we're splitting. We're still splitting my 4 middle background. Then by objects from front to back, but directly in color and in correct value. Then further splits will require knowledge of color transition from brighter to darker ones. Hello Kirio, what hue to what hue, as well as the saturation. Oh, what? What, the tabs and spaces are different width in this software? Hello? Here? Color variation builds on base ones. Blah blah blah. So for middle back in color, in correct value. Then as we split further colors, we need to find out what colors to split with, but we'll still do it, and then it will still be the correct value. Maybe with slightly different colors. Then when that is ready, we will be at this stage of the process, and at this stage of the process, we can then introduce color variation with a brush that has color jitter on it. So hue jitter and saturation jitter, possibly. Or we can do it manually. In this case, I think like the artist here, some of the colors here, if we just pick it out and take a look, it's like these two colors specifically, it's just basically a hue change. Everything else is the same. So we can do some of these manually. Then we can go into the third stage, which is just painting, which is what we were doing at the very end. And that should be a process that we can use, and then we can yeah, so I think tomorrow I'll come back to this just because we already know the values. I'm gonna look at the colors in depth. I don't know what exactly I would do. I guess I will start by just picking the color out by eye and then seeing how close I can get. And then we'll just paint something that's very rudimentary. We wouldn't bother with the shapes or the proportions so much, just the color in the right position. And then based on what we learned there, I probably have more questions that I want to answer. And then when I feel ready, we'll probably take a photo and then we'll try and use the exact same palette here. And then paint that photo. And then maybe put in my character or something, I don't know. And that could be our first environmental painting of the stream. Okay, so we have a game plan. So I'll probably drop off here. Thank you guys for coming. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. And let's see how this goes. Have a good night. Yes, thanks for keeping me company and listening to me rant. Sorry, Raz, that you just came. Kirio as well. Have a good night, guys. Have a good afternoon too. Or evening. Or morning or day. Or noon. Good night.